Good afternoon, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day and God bless you. Let's get into the news. Alright. To win 100 victories in 100 battles is not the acme of skill. To subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. John Durham checkmate Sunday the 17th of July 2020 to comeback resurrection. Mission successful, well done patriots. If you know God always wins. Trust the plan. Judy note checkmate on Sunday the 17th of July 2022. A comeback, a resurrection. In memory of JFK Jr.'s plane that went down without him on board 23 years ago on Saturday the 16th of July. Let's be silent for 17 seconds and remember his plane. The best is yet to come. Reignite World Freedom Global Walkouts, an official launch of a new global network to push back against globalist organizations like the World Health Organization, WHO, and the World Economic Forum WEF. Launch date to be announced once we have enough pledges worldwide. Pledge your participation is a call for farmers, truckers, fishermen and more in the UK, USA, France, Italy, Germany, Australia, Canada. AECT for united support of the Dutch farmers to be held Sat 23rd of July. I am back. I will reveal the unexposed facts that you need to know. Some truths might disturb you. But don't worry, it's all for the good of our people. If you know, Trump Newscube plus a global currency reset. Rumor was that the US was officially switched to the gold back to US and dollar currency by Saturday the 16th of July. Saturday the 16th of July Mark Z hearing very, very positive things over the next 5 or 6 days. Iraq could publish their new dinar rate in their gazette on Wednesday the 28th of July. I am being told to have you focus on your projects and what good things you're going to do with your newfound wealth. On Monday, the 11th of July, certain bondholders have been made liquid that were under strict NDAs, and the rest were to be paid out within the next 3 weeks. There were about 20,000 bondholders and about 20% of received monies in their accounts, but not yet liquid. They were paying out beginning from the smallest bond accounts up to the largest bond accounts. The trustee of the Saint Germain Trust has already released money to certain accounts. Coach Jerry: I am estimating that the great reveal mass military action coupled with us being at our appointments will happen sometime before Saturday the 30th of July. Reminder: no one, and I mean absolutely no one, knows the exact time and date that the global currency reset would be finalized, with codes entered for notification of Tier 4 BIOS, the Internet Group, to set redemption exchange appointments. It dependent upon an earth-shattering event such as a global financial crash. The exact time would be decided by the military out of calculations of their quantum computer and based upon concerns for safety of the people. Trust the plan. B. Global food fuel in good shortages. A deeper outlook on the root causes of the farmers' crisis and the global agriculture challenge by Russell Brand. Vandana Shiva. F. The real news for Saturday the 16th of July. UK heatwave disruption. Schools close, hospitals cancel appointments, and events are scrapped as UK braces for record temperatures. The country is bracing itself for extreme disruption next week. A massive prison barge is currently floating in the East River of South Bronx near NYC. The barge holds 800 prisoners on 4 June 2022. Military tribunals moved to Guam. Military tribunals are now being conducted in Guam. G. White Hat Intel. There were 2 constitutions in the United States. First was suspended in favor of a Vatican incorporation in 1871. Since 1871, the United States President in the United States, Congress has been playing politics under a different set of rules and policies. The American people do not know that there are 2 constitutions in the United States, the first penned by the leaders of the newly independent states of the United States in 1776. On July 4, 1776, the people claimed their independence from Britain and democracy was born. And for 95 years the United States people were free and independent. That freedom ended in 1871, when the original Constitution for the United States for America was changed to the Congress realized that the country was in dire financial straits. International bankers in those days, the Rothschilds of London, thereby incurring a debt to said bankers. The conniving international bankers were not about to lend the floundering nation any money without some serious stipulations. So they devised a way of taking back control of the United States, and thus the Act of 1871 was passed. With no constitutional authority to do so, Congress created a separate form of government for the District of Columbia. With the passage of the Act of 1871, a city-state, a state within a state, called the District of Columbia, located on 10 square miles of land in the heart of Washington, was formed with its own flag and its own independent constitution, the United States Secret Second Constitution. The flag of Washington's District of Columbia has 3 red stars, each symbolizing a city-state within the three-city empire. The three-city empire consists of Washington, D.C., London and Vatican City. London is the corporate center of the three city-states and controls the world economically. Washington's District of Columbia city-state is in charge of the military, and the Vatican controls it all under the guise of spiritual guidance. Although geographically separate, the city-states of London, the Vatican and the District of Columbia are one interlocking empire called Empire of the City. The Constitution for the District of Columbia operates under tyrannical Vatican law known as Blacks for Local Law. When Congress passed it, created a separate corporation known as the United States and Corporate Government for the District of Columbia. This treasonous act has unlawfully allowed the District of Columbia to operate as a corporation outside the original Constitution of the United States and in total disregard of the best interests of the American citizens. P.O.T. Us is the chief executive president of the Corporation of the United States, operating as any other CEO of the corporation governs with a board of directors, cabinet officials and managers, senators. Congress. Obama has others before him is P.O.T. Us operating as vassal king, taking orders once again from the City of London through the RIA Royal Institute of International Affairs. The Illuminati, founded by the Society of Jesus, are Jesuits, the largest Roman Catholic religious military order, headed by the Black Pope, created the Royal Institute of International Affairs, RIA, in 1919. The American equivalent to the RIA is the Council of Foreign Relations CFR. The RIA and CFR set up roundtable groups based on the King Arthur Mess. What did the Act of 1871 achieve? The ACT of 1871 put the United States back under British rule, which is under Vatican rule. The United States people lost their independence in 1871 as the Constitution of the United States of America as the Constitution of the Incorporated United States of America. It operates in an economic capacity and has been used to fool people into thinking that governs the Republic. It does not. Capitalization is not insignificant when one is referring to a legal document. This seemingly minor alteration has had a major impact on every subsequent generation of Americans. What Congress did by passing the Act of 1871 was created an entirely new document, a constitution for the government of the District of Columbia and incorporated government. Instead of having absolute and unalienable rights guaranteed under the organic constitution, we the people now have relative rights or privileges. One example is the sovereign's right to travel, which has now been transformed under corporate government policy into a privilege that requires citizens to be licensed driver's licenses and passports. By passing the Act of 1871, Congress committed treason against the people who are sovereign under the grants and decrees of the Declaration of Independence and the Organic Constitution. The Act of 1871 became the foundation of all the treason sins committed by government officials. As of 1871, the United States isn't a country, it's a corporation. In preparation for stealing America, the puppets of Britain's banking cabal had already created a second government, a shadow government designed to manage what the people believed was a democracy. But what really wasn't incorporated United States. Together this chimera, this two-headed monster disallowed the people all rights of sui juris, you in your sovereignty. The USA is a crown colony. The US has always been and remains a British crown colony. King James I is not just famous for translating the Bible into the King James Version, but for signing the first Charter of Virginia in 1606, which granted America's British forefathers license to settle and colonize America. The charter guaranteed future kings/queens of England would have sovereign authority over all citizens and colonized land in America. After America declared independence from Great Britain, the Treaty of Paris, signed on September 3, 1783, was signed. That treaty identifies the King of England as Prince of Us, Prince George III, by the grace of God, King of Great Britain, France and Ireland, Defender of the Faith, Duke of Brunswick and Lüneburg, Arch-Treasurer and Prince-Elector of the Holy Roman Empire, etc., and of the United States of America. Article 5 of that treaty gave all British estates, rights and properties back to Britain. It is agreed that Congress shall earnestly recommend it to the legislatures of the respective states to provide for the restitution of all estates, rights and properties, which had been confiscated belonging to real British subjects, and also the estates, rights and properties of persons resident in districts in the possession on His Majesty's arms, and that persons of any other description shall have free liberty to go to any part or parts of any of the 13 United States and therein remain 12 months unmolested in their endeavors to obtain the restitution of such of their estates, rights, and properties as may have been confiscated. And that Congress shall also earnestly recommend to the several states a reconsideration and revision of all acts or laws regarding the premises, so as to render the said laws or acts perfectly consistent not only with justice and equity, but with that spirit of conciliation which on the return of the blessings of peace should universally prevail. And that Congress shall also earnestly recommend to the several states that the estates, rights, and properties of such last mentioned person shall be restored to them, they refunding to any persons who may be now in possession the bona fide the price, where any has been given, which such persons may have paid on purchasing any of the said lands, rights, or properties since the confiscation. And it is agreed that all persons who have any interest in confiscated lands, either by debts, marriage settlements, or otherwise shall meet with no lawful impediment in the prosecution of their just rights. It is becoming increasingly apparent to American citizens that government is no longer being conducted in accordance with the U.S. Constitution or within states according to state constitutions. Well, people have recognized for more than 150 years that the rich and powerful often corrupt individual officials or exert undue influence to get legislation passed that favors their interests. Most Americans still cling to the naive belief that such corruption is exceptional, and that most of the institutions of society, the courts, the press, and law enforcement agencies, still largely comply with the Constitution and the law in important matters. They expect that these corrupting forces are disunited and in competition with one another, so that they tend to balance one another. Mounting evidence makes it clear that the situation is far worse than most people think, that during the last several decades, the U.S. Constitution has been effectively overthrown, and that it is now observed only as a facade to deceive and placate the masses. What has replaced it is what many called the shadow government created with the illegal passing of the Act of 1871. It still, for the most part, operates in secret because its control is not secure. The exposure of this regime and its operations must now become a primary duty of citizens who still believe in the rule of law and in the freedoms which this country is supposed to represent. Military tribunals. Gitmo was not the only military tribunal location. If you were brought into a tribunal, there is no way out of court. Military tribunals were running full speed ahead at Gitmo, Tierra del Fuego, Patagonia, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, the Azores, Diego Garcia, and Crete. All of these bases were out of U.S. jurisdiction, meaning that the U.S. president has no say-so over these installations. Foreign soil is foreign soil. These bases are run entirely by the military, not the president. God bless you. Thank you so much.